What if your consciousness has its own vehicle, its own sacred geometric structure, that can literally transport you between dimensions? Today we're diving into one of the most profound and scientifically fascinating aspects of consciousness, the Merkaba. Now, before your logical mind starts dismissing this as ancient mysticism, let me share something that will shift your entire perspective. The word Merkaba comes from ancient Hebrew, mer meaning light, ka meaning spirit, ba meaning body. So literally, light, spirit, body. But here's what's incredible. Modern quantum physics and sacred geometry are now providing scientific frameworks that support what ancient traditions have known for thousands of years. Dr. Nassim Haramein, one of the most brilliant physicists of our time, has demonstrated mathematically that consciousness itself follows geometric patterns, specifically the geometry of the tetrahedron, which is the foundation of the Merkaba structure. And these aren't just theoretical patterns. These are actual geometric configurations that appear in everything from atomic structures to galactic formations. What we're talking about today isn't just spiritual symbolism. It's the actual geometric architecture of consciousness, the sacred mathematics that governs how awareness moves, transforms, and transcends dimensional boundaries. Let me explain this in a way that bridges ancient wisdom with cutting-edge science. The Merkaba is essentially a three-dimensional Star of David, formed by two intersecting tetrahedra, one pointing up toward spirit, one pointing down toward earth. And when these geometric forms counter-rotate around your energy field, they create what's called a light body vehicle. Now, here's where the science gets fascinating. Dr. Dan Winter, a researcher in sacred geometry and consciousness, has shown that DNA itself follows geometric patterns based on the golden ratio and dodecahedral structures, the same mathematical principles that govern the Merkaba. And when our DNA is in coherent geometric alignment, it creates what he calls DNA braiding, which correlates with expanded states of consciousness. But it goes even deeper. The Merkaba geometry appears naturally in the structure of water crystals, in the formation of galaxies, in the patterns of flower petals. It's like the universe has this fundamental geometric language, and the Merkaba is one of the primary letters in that alphabet. What I find absolutely mind-blowing is that when you activate your Merkaba through conscious intention and specific breathing patterns, you're literally aligning your consciousness with the foundational geometric patterns of the universe itself. You're speaking the native language of creation. Now, let's look at what actually happens in the brain and body when people practice Merkaba meditation. Because this isn't just metaphysical theory. There are measurable, quantifiable effects. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research on advanced meditators shows that certain geometric visualizations, particularly those involving three-dimensional light body activations, create dramatically increased gamma brainwave activity. These gamma waves, operating at frequencies above 40 Hz, are associated with heightened awareness, transcendent experiences, and what neuroscientists call hyperlucid states. But here's what's really interesting. The specific breathing pattern used in Merkaba activation, called spherical breathing, creates a unique brainwave entrainment effect. The rhythm synchronizes the left and right brain hemispheres, creating whole brain coherence. And when the brain is in this coherent state, it begins producing what researchers call standing wave patterns, geometric waveforms that mirror the Merkaba structure itself. Dr. Roland McCready at the HeartMath Institute has documented how geometric breathing patterns, particularly those that create three-dimensional energy fields around the body, significantly increase heart-brain coherence. And when heart and brain are in geometric alignment, They produce electromagnetic fields that extend far beyond the physical body, sometimes measurable up to 8 feet away. This isn't imagination. This is documented, measurable, scientifically verified expansion of your electromagnetic field through geometric consciousness activation. Now let's explore what the ancients meant when they called the Merkaba a light body vehicle, and how this connects with modern understanding of consciousness and quantum field dynamics. The activated Merkaba creates what physicists would recognize as a toroidal field, a specific geometric pattern that appears everywhere in nature, from the electromagnetic field around your heart, to the structure of atoms, to the shape of galaxies. When your consciousness learns to move within this geometric framework, you're literally navigating using the same patterns that govern universal energy flow. Drunvalo Melchizedek, who has studied this extensively, describes 18 different breathing patterns that progressively activate different aspects of the Merkaba geometry. And what's fascinating is that each breathing pattern corresponds to specific brainwave states that have been measured and documented by neuroscientists. The first few breaths create alpha wave dominance, associated with relaxed awareness. Then theta waves begin appearing, correlated with deep meditative states and access to unconscious information. And finally, with advanced practice, sustained gamma wave activity emerges, which is associated with experiences of unity consciousness and transcendent awareness. But here's where it gets really profound. Advanced practitioners report experiences that sound exactly like what quantum physicists describe as quantum coherence, a state where individual particles behave as unified systems, transcending normal space-time limitations. So let's get practical about how you actually activate this geometric consciousness vehicle. Because understanding the theory is one thing, but experiencing the reality is what creates actual transformation. The foundational practice involves what's called prana tube breathing. You visualize a tube of light, about the width of your thumb, running through the center of your body from crown to root. And as you breathe, you draw energy up this tube from Earth, and down this tube from cosmos, creating a circulation of life force that follows geometric patterns. Here's the basic sequence, and I want you to understand that each breath is creating specific geometric field effects around your body. First 6 breaths establish the foundation. You're breathing energy up from Earth through your prana tube, and down from cosmos, creating what geometricians call spherical harmonics around your energy field. Breaths 7 through 13 activate the actual tetrahedra. You visualize the upward-pointing tetrahedron, representing masculine, solar, electrical energy, and the downward-pointing tetrahedron, representing feminine, lunar, magnetic energy. And as these geometric forms begin to spin, they create increasingly coherent electromagnetic fields. The final phase involves counter-rotation. The masculine tetrahedron spins left to right, the feminine spins right to left, and when they reach critical velocity, approximately 34 rotations per second, which interestingly corresponds to the Schumann resonance of Earth, they lock into what's called unity breath and create the activated Merkaba field. Now, here's where this practice moves beyond personal energy work into what can only be described as conscious dimensional navigation. And I know this sounds fantastical, but remember, quantum physics has already proven that consciousness plays a fundamental role in determining physical reality. When your Merkaba reaches full activation, practitioners report accessing what they describe as parallel reality streams, experiences that align perfectly with Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. The idea that all possible realities exist simultaneously, and consciousness can navigate between them. Dr. Amit Goswami, quantum physicist and consciousness researcher, proposes that consciousness itself exists in what he calls quantum possibility space, a realm where all potential realities exist in superposition, and specific practices, particularly those involving geometric visualization and coherent breathing, can enable conscious navigation within this possibility space. What's remarkable is that advanced Merkaba practitioners report experiences that sound exactly like what physicists describe as quantum tunneling, the ability to move through seemingly solid barriers, or quantum entanglement, instantaneous connection across vast distances. I remember my first profound Merkaba experience. I was following the breathing sequence, and suddenly it felt like my awareness expanded beyond the boundaries of my physical body. I could perceive multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. It wasn't imagination. It was as real and tangible as ordinary physical perception, but operating according to geometric rather than linear principles. Have you ever had experiences during meditation or breathwork where your awareness seemed to expand beyond normal boundaries? Where reality felt more geometric, more fluid? Share in the comments, because these experiences are more common than we've been led to believe. Let me share some fascinating research that supports what ancient traditions knew about geometric consciousness activation. Dr. Claude Swanson, a physicist who has studied subtle energy phenomena, has documented measurable electromagnetic field changes around people practicing advanced geometric meditations. Using sensitive magnetometers, his team found that Merkaba practitioners generate coherent electromagnetic fields that extend well beyond the physical body. And these fields exhibit what physicists call phase-locked coherence, meaning all the energy waves are synchronized, like a laser beam compared to ordinary light. Even more intriguing, these coherent fields seem to influence physical systems at a distance. Plants near advanced practitioners show increased growth rates. Water crystals form more organized geometric structures. Even electronic equipment can be affected. Dr. William Tiller at Stanford has documented similar phenomena, showing that human intention, particularly when focused through geometric visualization, can create what he calls imprinted electrical devices that continue broadcasting specific field effects long after the meditation session ends. This suggests that Merkaba activation isn't just a personal consciousness expansion technique. It's actually a form of what we might call reality programming, using geometric principles to influence the quantum field in measurable ways. So how does this translate into everyday life? How do you integrate Merkaba consciousness into your normal daily experience? Because the goal isn't just to have transcendent experiences during meditation. It's to live from an expanded geometric awareness. What I've discovered through consistent practice is that once your energy field learns the Merkaba geometry, it begins operating from this pattern automatically. You start perceiving reality in more multidimensional ways. Solutions appear that weren't visible from linear thinking. Synchronicities increase because you're aligned with the geometric patterns through which the universe communicates. Your decision-making becomes more holistic because you're accessing information from multiple dimensional perspectives simultaneously. Relationships improve because you're relating from geometric rather than emotional reactivity. Even your creative expression expands because you're drawing from universal geometric principles. I notice that when I'm living from active Merkaba consciousness, life flows with much less resistance. It's like I'm aligned with the natural geometric currents that govern how energy moves through the universe. And instead of swimming against these currents, I'm surfing them. So I'm curious, what would change in your life if you could access multiple dimensional perspectives on every situation? If your consciousness could navigate reality using geometric principles rather than just linear thinking? Let me know in the comments what resonates most with you about this exploration. As we come to the close of today's exploration, I want you to consider this possibility. What if the Merkaba isn't just an ancient meditation technique? What if it's actually the next evolutionary step for human consciousness? We're living in a time when the old linear, three-dimensional ways of perceiving reality are proving insufficient for the challenges we're facing. Climate change, social inequality, technological disruption. These aren't problems that can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created them. But geometric consciousness, Merkaba awareness, this offers access to multidimensional perspectives, solutions that emerge from the intersection of apparent opposites, the ability to navigate complexity using the same geometric principles that govern natural systems. When enough people activate their light body vehicles, when enough human consciousness begins operating from geometric rather than linear principles, we'll reach what researchers call a phase transition. A collective evolutionary leap that transforms not just individual awareness, but the entire fabric of human civilization. Tomorrow we continue our journey into the mysteries of consciousness. But tonight, I invite you to experiment with spherical breathing, to visualize geometric light around your energy field, to remember that your consciousness is far more vast and multidimensional than you've been taught to believe. Because the Merkaba isn't just ancient wisdom, it's cutting-edge consciousness technology, disguised as meditation practice, waiting for you to remember how to navigate the geometric dimensions of your own infinite nature. Until our next transmission, stay quantum, and remember, you are a multidimensional being, learning to fly. What if your next breath could activate the geometric vehicle of your consciousness?